I'll create a new HFY, humanity, F*****, yeah, story for your YouTube channel, focusing on humans and aliens with completely original characters. Let me first outline the parts for this science fiction story. Story outline. Part 1. The Human Ambassador. Introduction to Captain Maya Rodriguez, the first human ambassador to the Galactic Confederation. Description of the alien races and their skepticism toward humans as Deathworlders. The diplomatic reception, where Maya first encounters prejudice. Maya's background as a former Special Forces operative. The sabotage attempt and Maya's casual display of strength. Aftermath and changing perceptions. Part 2. The Alliance. Rising threat from the Void Dominion. Maya's unique position as a bridge between species. Training exercises that showcase human adaptability. The surprise attack on the diplomatic station. Maya's leadership during the crisis. Formation of the first human-alien joint defense force. Now I'll write the complete story based on this outline. Part 1. The Human Ambassador. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, humanity was the newest arrival to the galactic stage. The year was 2187, nearly 4 decades since Earth's first contact with the Galactic Confederation, an alliance of 17 sentient species spanning over 300 star systems. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood before the massive viewport of the diplomatic vessel Harmony, watching as the jewel-like structure of Concordia Station grew larger against the backdrop of swirling nebula gases. At 35, Maya was not what most humans would consider imposing. Standing at 172 centimeters with an athletic build, her olive skin bore subtle scars from her 15 years in Earth's Special Tactical Response Unit. Her dark hair was pulled back in a regulation bun, revealing sharp cheekbones and eyes that seemed to catalog every detail of her surroundings, a habit from years of high-risk operations. Now, as Earth's first official ambassador to the Confederation, she carried a different kind of weight on her shoulders. Ambassador Rodriguez will be docking in 20 minutes, announced the ship's eye. The welcoming committee has requested your presence in the main airlock. Maya nodded, smoothing down the front of her formal diplomatic uniform, deep blue with silver trim, bearing Earth's unified emblem. Thank you, ARI. Is the diplomatic package prepared? Affirmative. All cultural exchange materials and treaty proposals are ready for presentation. The Confederation had kept humanity at arm's length since first contact, permitting only limited trade and scientific exchange. Earth was classified as a Deathworld, a planet with environmental conditions considered extremely hazardous by galactic standards. Its inhabitants, consequently, were viewed with a mixture of fear and fascination. Maya's mission was to change that perception and secure Earth's full membership in the Confederation. As the Harmony completed its docking procedures, Maya stood flanked by her small team. Dr. Evan Chen, xenobiologist, Commander Jackson Hayes, security chief, and diplomatic analyst Sophia Okuffer. They represented the best of humanity, brilliant, adaptable, and determined. The airlock cycled open to reveal a delegation of various alien species. At the forefront stood High Counselor Velix, a Thalassian whose blue-green skin glistened with bioluminescent patterns. Behind him waited representatives from several member species, the avian chimerae with their elaborate feathered crests, the insectoid drill clicking their mandibles nervously, and the massive Ursine Gronthar, whose breathing sounded like distant thunder. Ambassador Rodriguez, Velix's translator, conveyed his warbling speech into English. The Galactic Confederation welcomes you to Concordia Station. We trust your journey was uneventful. Maya stepped forward, executing the Thalassian greeting gesture perfectly, 3 fingers splayed, palm facing inward, with a slight bow. High Counselor, the honor is ours. Earth extends its gratitude for this opportunity to deepen our relationship with the Confederation. A ripple of surprised murmurs passed through the alien delegation at her flawless execution of their cultural protocol. Maya suppressed a smile. She'd spent months studying every nuance of Confederation etiquette and customs. The formal reception that followed was a calculated display of power and politics. In the grand atrium of Concordia Station, representatives from all 17 member species gathered to observe the human delegation. The space itself was breathtaking, a massive dome of transparent alloy revealing the swirling gases of the nebula beyond, bathing everything in shifting hues of purple and blue. Maya noted the subtle hierarchies at play. The elder species like the Thalassians and Gronthar occupied central positions, while newer members remained at the periphery. She also couldn't miss the way many representatives kept a noticeable distance from the human delegation. "They're afraid of us," Commander Hayes muttered under his breath as they accepted nutrient drinks from a hovering service drone. "They have reason to be cautious," Maya replied quietly. "To them, we evolved on a planet that would kill most of them within minutes. Our strength, our immune systems, our adaptability. These are terrifying concepts to species that evolved in more forgiving environments." Across the room, a cluster of Zeril representatives were gesturing toward the humans, while their translator units were deliberately muted. Maya didn't need to hear their conversation to recognize the dismissive body language. "Ambassador Rodriguez," a melodious voice interrupted her observations. She turned to find herself facing a Chimeri diplomat, his golden feathers arranged in what she recognized as a pattern denoting academic achievement. "I am Professor Tarek. Your species' historical archives are fascinating, particularly your tendency to thrive in conditions that would devastate most sentient species." Maya smiled diplomatically. "Professor, we simply adapted to our environment, as I imagine all species have in their own way." "Indeed, but few environments demand such resilience. Your average surface gravity alone would crush many Confederation citizens." The Chimeri's head tilted curiously. "Yet you move as though it requires no effort." "One rarely notices the conditions one is born to," Maya replied. "Just as I imagine you don't constantly marvel at your species' natural flight capabilities." Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion near the central platform, where High Counselor Velex was preparing to deliver the formal welcome address. A massive decorative sculpture, a representation of the Confederation's founding principles carved from dense crystalline material, was being positioned by anti-gravity drones. As Maya watched, one drone suddenly flickered, its power failing. The sculpture, easily weighing over 200 kilograms, began to tilt dangerously toward where a group of Thalassian elders stood in conversation, oblivious to the danger. Without hesitation, Maya surged forward, crossing the room in seconds. As the massive crystal structure fell, she positioned herself beneath it, hands raised to catch the falling object. The room fell silent as every alien eye watched what they assumed would be the crushing of the human ambassador. Instead, Maya caught the sculpture, muscles tensing as she absorbed the impact. For a moment, she held the massive weight above her head, face showing only mild strain, before carefully lowering it to the floor. The silence that followed was profound. Maya straightened, brushing crystal dust from her uniform sleeves, as though she had done nothing more remarkable than pick up a drop datapad. "High Counselor," she said calmly to the stunned Velex, "I believe one of your anti-gravity drones may be malfunctioning. Perhaps your technical team should examine it." Later analysis would reveal deliberate sabotage, an attempt by isolationist factions to disrupt the human integration, or perhaps even injure the ambassador. Instead, it had accomplished what months of diplomatic talks might never have achieved, a visceral demonstration of human capability that no amount of classification reports could convey. In the privacy of the human quarters that evening, Maya's team reviewed the day's events. The drone malfunction was deliberate, Commander Hayes reported, displaying the security scans on a holographic projection. Targeted electromagnetic pulse, very sophisticated. Someone didn't want this reception to succeed. Maya nodded, unsurprised. Opposition was expected, but now they've shown their hand. Dr. Chen looked thoughtful. "Your display of strength has certainly changed the conversation. I've received 17 requests for interviews about human physiology since the incident, and I've been contacted by representatives from 5 species who previously refused meeting requests," added Sophia, scrolling through her diplomatic notifications. The Grothar military attaché seemed particularly impressed. Maya gazed out at the nebula swirling beyond their viewport. This was never going to be easy. We're not just seeking trade agreements or scientific exchange. We're asking them to reconsider their fundamental understanding of strength and resilience. She turned back to her team. Tomorrow, we begin the real work. The Confederation needs to see that what they fear in us, our adaptability, our strength, our determination, these are the very qualities that would make us valuable allies. As the team dispersed to their respective quarters, Maya remained at the viewport, reflecting on Earth's long journey to this moment. Humanity had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and climate catastrophes, each crisis forging them into something stronger. Now they faced perhaps their greatest challenge, proving to a galaxy of aliens that being Deathworlders make humans not monsters to be feared, but allies worth embracing. The casual feat of strength that had shocked the diplomatic reception was merely the beginning. In the days to come, humanity would need to demonstrate that their physical capabilities were matched by wisdom, compassion, and an unbreakable desire to belong among the stars. The Alliance. 3 standard months after the diplomatic reception, Maya found herself in Concordia Station's Strategic Command Center, surrounded by representatives from 12 Confederation species. The atmosphere was tense as holographic displays showed the movement of Void Dominion vessels throughout the sector. The Void Dominion, a mysterious collective of species from beyond the galactic rim, had been launching increasingly aggressive incursions into Confederation space. Unlike the cooperative ethos of the Confederation, the Dominion operated on principles of subjugation and resource extraction, consuming entire planets and leaving dead worlds in their wake. "The pattern is clear," Maya stated, manipulating the tactical display to highlight attack vectors. "They're probing defenses, testing response times. These aren't random raids. They're gathering intelligence for something larger." High Counselor Velix's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with concern. "Your military assessment aligns with our intelligence division's conclusions, Ambassador. The question remains, what is their ultimate objective? And why has the Confederation's defense fleet been ineffective in repelling even these probe attacks?" Rumbled General Kerox, the massive Grothar military commander whose species had become surprisingly supportive of human integration. Maya had spent months building relationships throughout the Confederation hierarchy, leveraging the respect she'd earned after the sculpture incident, as it had come to be known. What had begun as fearful curiosity about human physical capabilities had evolved into genuine interest in human strategic thinking and adaptability. The Confederation fleet was designed for peacekeeping and exploration, Maya observed diplomatically. "Your weapon systems prioritize precision over power. Your tactical doctrine emphasizes containment rather than direct confrontation. These are admirable priorities for maintaining peace among willing participants, but ineffective against an enemy that acknowledges no boundaries," finished Captain Taylor, a Kamuri tactical officer who had become one of Maya's closest allies. "The Dominion exploits what they perceive as weakness." Maya nodded. Earth's history is filled with conflicts against adversaries who mistook restraint for weakness. Sometimes, demonstrating strength is the only path to lasting peace. This philosophy had initially shocked many Confederation representatives, but as Dominion attacks increased, more were beginning to see wisdom in the human perspective. Maya had proposed a joint training initiative where human tactical officers would work alongside Confederation forces to develop new defensive strategies. "The first joint exercise scenarios begin tomorrow," Maya reminded the assembly. "My team has prepared simulations based on historical Earth conflicts that required adaptive thinking against technologically superior forces." The meeting adjourned with a tension that had become familiar in recent weeks, the uncomfortable recognition that peaceful coexistence required the capacity for effective defense. As Maya gathered her materials, General Kerox approached, his massive form dwarfing her. Your species understands something mine has forgotten. Ambassador, the Granthar rumbled quietly. The universe is not always kind to those who cannot defend themselves. Maya looked up at the massive Ursine alien. And yet defense without compassion becomes conquest, General. Balance is everything. The joint training exercises revealed surprising synergies between human tactical thinking and the various specialized capabilities of Confederation species. The Zrill, with their complex hive mind processing, excelled at coordinating multiple simultaneous operations once they understood the human concept of decentralized command. The Thalassians, with their natural affinity for three-dimensional spatial reasoning, revolutionized void space maneuvers when introduced to Earth's naval warfare doctrines. During one particularly successful simulation, Maya stood on the observation deck with High Counselor Velix, watching as a mixed human Confederation team executed a complex defensive maneuver against a simulated Dominion attack force. Your species approaches conflict differently, Velix observed. Where we see threats to be contained, you see puzzles to be solved. Survival often depends on creativity, Maya replied. Earth's environment never allowed us the luxury of rigid thinking. Their conversation was interrupted by a station-wide alert. Red emergency lighting bathed the observation deck as the AI announced, "Attention all personnel. Multiple unidentified vessels detected. Hostile intent confirmed. Defense protocols activated." The tactical displays shifted to real-time sensor data, showing 5 Dominion warships emerging from faster-than-light travel near Concordia Station. Their distinctive black hulls, shaped like elongated arrowheads, absorbed rather than reflected light, earning them the nickname shadow ships among Confederation forces. "They've never struck this deep in Confederation space." Velix's translator conveyed his shock as his skin paled to a sickly blue. Maya was already activating her communication implant. "Hayes, get our team to emergency stations. Chen, coordinate with medical. Sophia, ensure all diplomatic staff are secured." She turned to Velix. "High Counselor, we need to reach the command center." The station shuddered as the first volley of Dominion weapons fire impacted the outer defensive shields. Throughout the massive structure, alarm systems wailed as thousands of beings from dozens of species reacted with varying degrees of panic and resolve. In the command center, chaos reigned. The Confederation's decentralized command structure, effective during peacetime diplomacy, became a liability in crisis. Multiple species attempted to implement contradictory protocols, while communication systems struggled to translate technical terminology across 17 different languages. Maya assessed the situation rapidly. The station's shields were holding for now, but Confederation defense vessels were scattered and disorganized. Without coordinated resistance, the Dominion would methodically dismantle their defenses. Enough. Her voice cut through the cacophony. The command center fell silent as all eyes turned to the human ambassador. This is exactly what the Dominion expects. Confusion, hesitation, division. We will not give them what they want. In that moment, Maya Rodriguez was no longer simply Earth's ambassador. She became the voice of decisive action in a culture unaccustomed to direct confrontation. "General Kerox, your Granthar cruisers have the heaviest armor. Position them to absorb the primary assault." She turned to the Zrill commander. "Coordinator Vixik, your vessels have superior sensor arrays. Establish a perimeter and track Dominion movement patterns." To the Camiri tactical officer, "Captain Taylor, your ships have the maneuverability to exploit the firing pattern gaps my analysis team identified last month." One by one, she assigned roles that played to each species' strengths while addressing their weaknesses, creating a unified defense where before there had been only disconnected parts. High Counselor Velix watched in astonishment as military commanders accustomed to endless deliberation now moved with purpose and coordination. When the Dominion vessels attempted to separate and target different sections of the station, they encountered not the disjointed response they expected, but a cohesive defense system that anticipated their tactics. Granthar shields absorbed punishing fire, while Chimeri strike craft exploited momentary vulnerabilities in Dominion shield harmonics, a weakness identified by Dr. Chen's xenotechnology analysis. 4 hours into the battle, Maya stood at the central tactical display, directing adjustments as the situation evolved. Her uniform was stained with coolant from a ruptured conduit. A superficial burn marked her left cheek, but her focus never wavered. "Ambassador," Commander Hayes approached, his voice low. "Our analysis suggests the Dominion flagship is coordinating the attack formation. If we can disrupt their command vessel, the others may retreat." Maya studied the tactical display. "The flagship's defensive capabilities exceed anything our combined forces can penetrate conventionally." "Yes, but..." Hayes hesitated. "The human transport shuttle in Docking Bay 7 has been retrofitted with the prototype shield harmonizer Dr. Chen developed. It could potentially pass through their defensive field." "A direct boarding action," Maya concluded, immediately understanding the implication. Who would pilot such a mission? Hayes stood straighter. "I've already volunteered, Ambassador." Maya shook her head. "The station needs your security expertise, Commander." She activated her communicator. "RIA, transfer station command authorization protocols to High Counselor Velix." "Ambassador." Velix's translator conveyed his confusion. "What are you planning?" Maya removed her diplomatic insignia and handed it to the stunned Thalassian. "High Counselor, before I was an ambassador, I was a tactical insertion specialist with 15 years of experience. This is not my first time behind enemy lines." Before anyone could object, Maya was moving toward the exit. "Commander Hayes will coordinate from here. Have a tactical team of volunteers meet me in Bay 7 in 5 minutes. Mixed species, emphasis on technical skills, and zero-gravity combat experience." The next 30 minutes unfolded like a precision operation. The modified human shuttle, temporarily designated Spearhead, launched from Concordia Station with Maya and a volunteer team of 7. 2 humans from her security detail, a Zrill communications specialist, a Chimeri navigator, 2 Thalassian technical experts, and a Gronthar combat specialist. "Remember," Maya briefed her team as they approached the Dominion flagship, "our objective is their command nexus. We disable their coordination capabilities, then extract. This is not a suicide mission." The Spearhead slipped through the Dominion's defensive field exactly as Dr. Chen had predicted, the shield harmonizer masking their approach by matching frequencies with the enemy vessel. They docked at an auxiliary maintenance port, bypassing primary security systems. What followed was a masterclass in adaptive tactics. The Dominion's internal security forces, biomechanical constructs with multiple limbs and integrated energy weapons, had never encountered the combined capabilities of a multi-species strike team led by a human Deathworlder. Maya moved with precise efficiency, her body conditioned by Earth's higher gravity giving her an advantage in the Dominion ship's artificial gravity field. Where the alien constructs expected victims to flee or cower, she advanced. When they adjusted tactics, she countered with unpredictable variations. The Confederation team members, initially hesitant, found themselves emboldened by the humans' calm resolve. The Gronthar warriors' enormous strength complemented Maya's tactical precision. The Zrill communications specialist intercepted and disrupted internal security alerts. The Chimeri navigators' 3-dimensional spatial awareness guided them through the labyrinthine vessel. In the central command nexus, they encountered the ship's leadership, tall, gaunt beings with translucent skin that revealed complex circulatory systems, pumping not blood but a luminescent fluid that seemed to shift colors with their emotions. The Dominion commanders had never expected enemies to penetrate this far and were unprepared for direct confrontation. Maya stepped forward, addressing them in clear, measured tones even as her team secured the command systems. "Your attack on Concordia Station has failed. Your tactical advantage is lost. Withdraw your forces immediately, or we will be forced to disable this vessel permanently." The lead Dominion commander, skin pulsing angry red, hissed through translator protocols. "Impossible. No Confederation species possesses the tactical experience or physical capability to. It stopped mid-sentence, eyes widening as it truly looked at Maya. You are human, a Deathworlder. I am Ambassador Maya Rodriguez of Earth, she confirmed, and I represent not just humanity, but a united confederation that will no longer tolerate your incursions. What followed was not the unconditional surrender Maya had hoped for, but a strategic withdrawal, the Dominion forces disengaging and retreating back beyond the sector boundary. As the spearhead returned to Concordia Station, Maya knew this was merely the first skirmish in what might become a prolonged conflict. The reception that greeted their return was unlike anything seen before on the station. Species that had once kept careful distance from the human delegation now pressed forward, reaching out in their various cultural expressions of respect and gratitude. The successful defense of Concordia had transformed perception overnight. In a private meeting with the High Council the following day, Maya stood tall despite her fatigue and minor injuries. What you witnessed, she told the assembled leaders, was not exceptional by human standards. On Earth, we have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When survival is at stake, we adapt, we improvise, we overcome. Your species thrives in crisis, observed Counselor Zerivex of the Zril Collective, a quality we once found disturbing, but now see differently. The qualities that make us Deathworlders, Maya replied, or strength, our adaptability, our willingness to confront threats directly. These same qualities make us valuable allies. Earth doesn't seek to dominate the Confederation, but to contribute our unique perspective to strengthen it. High Counselor Velex's skin rippled with thoughtful blue patterns. The Dominion will return, possibly, in greater numbers. They have never faced resistance of this kind before. Then we must be prepared, Maya said simply, not just with stronger shields or more powerful weapons, but with the combined strengths of all our species, coordinated and unified. 3 days later, the Galactic Confederation Council convened an emergency session and voted unanimously to establish the first Joint Defense Initiative, a combined military and strategic command incorporating methodologies and personnel from all member species, including Earth. Though still technically not a full member of the Confederation, humanity had earned a place at the table through actions rather than words. As Maya stood on the observation deck watching the first joint training exercises of this new unified force, she reflected on the journey that had brought her here. A casual feat of strength at a diplomatic reception had opened the door, but it was humanity's combination of physical capability and adaptive thinking that had truly begun to change perceptions. Commander Hayes joined her at the viewport. Not exactly how we plan to secure our position in the Confederation, he remarked dryly. Maya smiled. Diplomacy takes many forms, Commander. Sometimes it's formal negotiations over treaty terms. Sometimes it's standing side by side against a common threat. She gestured toward the mixed fleet formations executing maneuvers beyond the station. Look at them. 17 species working together, learning from each other. That's worth more than any treaty document. And the Dominion. Her expression grew serious. They'll be back, testing our resolve, looking for weaknesses, but they'll find something they don't expect. A confederation that's learning to combine compassion with strength, cooperation with decisive action. As if to punctuate her words, a formation of ships executed a perfect synchronized maneuver. A tactical pattern developed on Earth centuries ago, but now performed by vessels from across the galaxy, each contributing their unique capabilities to a unified whole. Deathworlders, Maya mused, not as monsters to be feared, but as defenders to be valued. She turned from the viewport. Our work is just beginning, Commander. Let's show the galaxy what humanity truly stands for.